Good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self-Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojapa Maria Ensaroma. Now, May is the first of 2 Earth months in what is an Earth year, an unprecedented Earth year, and it brings powerful energy for valuing support and nurturing as we continue to navigate through the challenges of coronavirus time. And we're doing that globally. As we continue the deep inner work to shift into a higher level of human consciousness, we will certainly have to address our self-worth. To support this essential growth task, my theme for May is show up and be worthy. Through 5 broadcasts and accompanying videos, I'll provide psychospiritual insights and practical wisdom for strengthening your ability to show up and be worthy. And this week, it's about being worthy of the joy of inner peace. But first, just as a reminder, when I'm broadcasting live, you can listen through this phone number, which is area code 563-999-3089. I will upload a video of this broadcast on Tuesday to my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self-Mastery. Now, you can ask questions or share comments on my broadcasts and videos on my Facebook page, which is Wisdom Walk Radio, or my website, which is www.wisdomwalk2selfmastery.com, or in the comment sections below the YouTube if you're watching it that way. But right now, I invite you to sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape where we can connect to the soul and discover the true treasure of being human. Wow, here we are entering into the second week of May, and it just so happens that today, when I am broadcasting and filming, it's Mother's Day. So, of course, for the invocation of the ancestors, we're going to call on all the mommies. And these can be mommies who are blood related to you or those who maybe weren't, but definitely fill that role. And unfortunately, but truly, for many of us, sometimes it was a person who was not our mother who was able to give us that mothering, that nurturing that we needed. And I don't care how old you are in life, it can happen at any time. Trust me, I know. So join me, if you will, and think about all the mothers and all the mothering people in your lives, whether they were other relatives, it could have been teachers, it could have been neighbors, acquaintances, whatever. But think of them right now. Say their names out loud, and join me as we invoke the ancestors. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for your blessing and mercy in our lives and for yet another opportunity to call on the ancestors. And Creator, we're calling out to all the mommy ancestors, to all the women, and sometimes they were men, they were male mothers. These are the people who were so nurturing to us, who were able to provide us with our basic needs, who brought us forth into the world through their bodies, or who acted like they did. And so we're calling out to them, remembering them, and of course asking them, especially at this time of global trauma, that we can be reminded and guided through their loving presence. So ancestors, we are calling out to you, to all the mummies out there, you who are in a place where the problems that we're experiencing here are not problems there. And so you have this ability, this 360-degree ability to help us move through and navigate through this time of great change, of incredible shifting in consciousness, to come through this in a very loving, a very open, a very nurturing and compassionate manner. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your presence in our lives as we continue to reach out to that mothering. And Creator, once again, I thank you for the blessing of the mother ancestors in the name of all that is holy. I say amen. Ashe, aho, asa, shinga, bismillah, and so it is. Ashe, ashe. Yes, yes, yes. Moving right along, I'm going to share with you the elemental wisdom for this week because we're stepping into a nature week. Yeah, from this Wednesday, the 13th, through Tuesday, the 19th, we are going to be asked to be flexible. This is the opportunity. So it's about trusting the process. Surrender your attachment to your plan. When we make up what we think is the best way for our dreams to come true, we are sure to be disappointed. Trust that the universe and its unknowable ability to make things happen in the right way and at the right time is more powerful than your brain or that of any other human. Want it to be right for you more than just wanting it. Let go of trying to figure it all out. Do what is right in front of you to do at the present moment, and know that more will be revealed. Connect with the magical and tricky energy of the nature element, whether that is in the form of plants, trees, flowers, animals, or humans, to help you accept the greater order and direction you are being asked to experience. And of course, along with any opportunity comes distraction. And so here are the few that I suggest you be on the lookout for. Number one, being arrogant and stubborn. And we've seen a lot of that during coronavirus time. Yeah, so just check yourself. You let go of thinking you're supposed to know or you know. Next, attempting to change a no into a yes. You know, that's going into that denial or thinking that you really can change it. Not a good use of your time and energy. Next, perceiving things as win-lose. Yeah, that'll really get you into a bunch. Right now, this is really about learning through this process. Next, despairing and trying to go back to the place you know best. Wow, isn't that interesting? As around the United States, things begin to become less restrictive. But again, it's maybe less restrictive, but it's never going back to what we have known. I call this trying to squeeze back through the hole. Yeah, the hole is gone. It's not there anymore. So again, pay attention to that. Pay attention if you're really trying to recreate what can no longer be. And last but not least, beating yourself up for situations and or outcomes over which you have no control. Yeah. I think a very appropriate and aligned message for this week. And when I share with you about the astrology, you'll understand even more why. But next week, the 20th of May, can you believe that? It's going to be the 20th already. Oh my God. Maybe I made a mistake here. Is it really going to be the 20th? Yeah, it is going to be the 20th. Wow. Okay, next week will be an Earth Week on Wednesday the 20th, and that's time to be in inspiration. And of course, I'll tell you all about that in the next broadcast and video. Quick reminder again that May the 22nd, that Friday, will be an Earth Day, because I have declared that every month we need to make the 22nd that time of remembering, a sacred day to remember that we have to do our individual part to take care of this beautiful planet that we live on. And again, I want you to continue to cut down on your use of plastic. And again, do check out the Earth Day website, www.earthday.org. and learn more things that you can do to contribute to the health and well-being of your home, planet Earth. Now, astrology. The big news this week, and we just came off of that really powerful full moon in the sign of Scorpio. It was just amazing. But now this week we have not one, not two, but 3 retrogrades showing up. Yeah. So I did my research and I'm just going to roll this into one big message for you. Retrogrades, and here's what they are, in case you don't know, or planets spinning backwards. And it's what appears to be happening when planets are at their closest approach to the Earth. So we've got 3 planets this week with close approaches to the Earth. So the retrograde motion is an illusory side effect of planetary proximity. Retrogrades are a time for review, rethink, reevaluate, reorganize, reimagine, remember, and repair, relax, and most importantly, rest. Yeah, because the planets are like coming to a standstill. So guess what? That's like we need to be at a standstill. So here they are. Here are the 3 planets. We've got Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter all going retrograde. Here's a little bit more detail. So from May 11th through September 29th, we'll have Saturn going retrograde in Aquarius. Here's the question you might want to be asking yourself. Am I taking full responsibility for the changes I'm making in my life? Something very important to be thinking about right now. Then on the 13th, yes, on Wednesday, we have Venus going retrograde in the sign of Gemini until the 25th of June. Here's a question. What are my fears regarding love and money, and what needs to be healed? Yeah. And then last but not least, from May 14th to September the 13th, we've got Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. And as you know, right now, it's conjunct Capricorn. So this is really big. And here's the question, the big question. What in my life that I've taken for granted needs to change so I can grow forward? Yeah. Something else to mention is that during this multiple retrograde period, the world will continue to experience the impact of out-of-date economic and political systems. Yeah, it ain't over, folks. It ain't over. This is happening so that we really get it, that now is the time to build a path towards a better future. Denial of what coronavirus is teaching is not going to have positive consequences. Let's be really clear about that. So I want to share this poem with you quickly. I received it from a friend, and it was tagged as being written in 1869 and circulated during the 1919 pandemic. Yeah, but I think it's very appropriate for what we're going through again and right now. So here we go. And the people stayed home and read books and listened, and they rested and did exercises and made art and played and made new ways of being and stopped and listened more deeply. Someone meditated, someone prayed, and someone met their shadow. And people began to think differently, and people healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, heartless, the earth began to heal. And when the danger ended and people found themselves, they grieved for the dead and made new choices and dreams of new visions and created new ways of living and completely healed the earth, just as they were healed. Ashe. I will leave links for the retrograde information I shared with you at the bottom of this video, and I will also post them on my Facebook page. Now, I promised last week and didn't get to it, but know that there is a video coming out about the astrological and celestial aspects for May that I think it's really important for you to know about, and that's the shift in the lunar nodes. I have to explain what nodes are and all of that good stuff, so that's why I put it in a separate video, and I promise I'll have that posted and up this week. But right now, I'm going to jump into what I want to talk about for the rest of this broadcast, which is about the joy of inner peace. So first I'm going to do a recap of show up and be worthy. And then I'm going to define the joy of inner peace for you. Then I'm going to quickly talk about what supports inner peace, then what blocks inner peace. That's an inside job. And then I'm going to share with you a faith gesture that you can do using water. My quote for tonight comes from Abraham Lincoln. And old Honest Abe said, "It is difficult to make a man miserable when he feels worthy of himself and claims kindred to the great God who made him." Yes. So, being worthy, showing up and being worthy. Last week I talked about how self-esteem is what we think and feel and believe about ourselves, but that self-worth is recognizing I am greater than all those things, right? So self-worth is kind of like a next level. Once you get to self-esteem, then you got to get to self-worth. So it's a next level, a more powerful level. When you feel worthy, you have clarity, confidence, and courage. And so what this all translates into is that worthiness, believing that we are worthy, that we have value, is essential to our quality of life. Right? Because without it, or when we've got holes in it, our quality of life is going to be lacking. Yeah. So here's the joy of inner peace, because, you know, it's a common term that we hear associated with Buddhism and, you know, Eastern philosophy. And so we may think that it's just I get still and I feel calm. Okay. But it's a little more than just that. So here's a definition about it being a state, a mental and emotional state of poise, happiness, confidence, and inner strength. A state where there's an elimination of anxieties, fears, and worries. It said that inner peace removes negative thoughts, stress, lack of satisfaction, and unhappiness. Okay, so that's it, talking about it being a state. But I think it is more than that. I think that, number one, inner peace is our natural state. Okay, I believe we were born with inner peace, and that is about being present and full of love, because that's what babies can be. They can just be present and full of love. Now, inner peace is not just I feel good inside. It's I know I'm good inside and out. Yeah. See, so it is a belief. It's deep. It's a belief system that generates that feeling of I feel good. Also, it's important to know that inner peace is what we journey away from in order to return to. And if you know the story of the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's journey is just a great example of that. So when our inner peace is disrupted for whatever reason, we've got to go on a journey to reclaim it, to remember it, to rediscover it. So in that context, achieving inner peace is a developmental process. Yeah, it's a developmental process. To maintain inner peace, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, yeah. And this doesn't mean that you'll never feel pain, anger, or grief. But the difference is you now know that you don't have to let negative emotions control your experience of life. You know that you can choose love over fear. So let's look at what supports inner peace. And essentially, it really is the inner work, what we do on ourselves internally. It's not about I gotta be in a forest and with nobody around on a beautiful summer's day with butterflies floating around, or I gotta be up on the mountaintop and nobody's around and there's peace. Like all those scenarios that get associated with what is peaceful, right? That's a part of it, but to me, that's not really how it goes, because you can be in any of those beautiful, peaceful places, but if you're not peaceful inside, if you haven't achieved your inner peace, you will not be peaceful. It will be a nightmare. Yeah. So inner peace is really an inside out job. Will an environment support you getting to inner peace? Oh yeah. But the real test of it is, I can walk through hell and be okay. Yeah. That's what really inner peace is about. So we can think of then that getting to inner peace is a journey of self-mastery. And it aligns with what I've talked about previously in terms of self-actualization. And of course, self-mastery. So here's what supports inner peace: accepting of self and others. No judging, controlling, or manipulating. Willingness to form deep and authentic relationships, not superficial and meaningless. Appreciation of life, which is a commitment to heal the past, to live in the present, and be curious about the future, not anxious. And of course, when you appreciate life, you're not going to be thinking or saying, I don't want to be here. Right. Next, guided by inner goals and values that consider the well-being of yourself and others. Yeah, that gets you to inner peace for sure. And then last but not least, the ability to express emotions freely and clearly without transferring your pain. Yes. So think about this. Every successful movie script from Hollywood shows a protagonist moving toward inner peace. That's why we love those stories, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, all the Harry Potter movies, The Matrix, The Wizard of Oz, Field of Dreams, Endgame, which is, again, the movie that was seen by more people in the world than any other movie. And, of course, Black Panther, right? So all of the heroes, sheroes in these movies are people who are journeying toward getting to that place of inner peace, knowing that they do not have to succumb to the negativity that they may have encountered in life. So, obviously, and more commonsensically, what blocks inner peace? Yeah, it's about what inside of you needs to be healed. Okay? What inside of you. It's not about what somebody's doing. It's not about the place you're in. It's not about the circumstance that's going on around you. No. That's none of that really blocks inner peace. No. What blocks it is what needs to be healed. So, of course, unhealed trauma. And that can be from your core wound, your family wound, your ancestral wound, or trauma that shows up as you live and grow. If that is not taken on to be healed, you will not experience inner peace. Yeah. Believing that you are your pain and that the world is out to get you, or what I also like to call victim consciousness. Ain't no inner peace coming there. Yeah. Also, holding on to pain through anger and resentment, which is what I'm going to focus on now. That definitely will keep you out of inner peace. So, of course, there are more examples that I can give you, but those three, I think, give you a good understanding that if I am attached to, feeling bad in whatever form, I am not going to be peaceful inside, right? And everything that happens on the outside is going to be a problem for me. Yeah. So to experience the joy of inner peace, we do have to go on a lifelong journey, really as a commitment to strengthen our ability to be worthy of it. Yeah, so this is the worthy piece. To get to the joy of inner peace, you have to believe that you deserve it, and you can't believe that if you're blocked by pain. Yeah. So a great beginning is learning how to let go of anger and resentment of people in your life. And I can tell you this from a personal perspective. When I got that I needed to take that on, wow, what a difference. And it doesn't happen overnight. This isn't like magical stuff. You work with who you're ready to let go of the attachment to. But it's a process. It's a process. It's like a practice. But once you do it and you have that experience where, wow, I don't have that zing, about that person when I think about them, when I talk about them. Oh, that's not there anymore. Wow, maybe I can do it with somebody else. It's like you want everybody in your life where you're attached to negativity to be healed. You want that to be gone. And so this type of letting go, just like with forgiveness, it's a grace from source, which is accessed by our asking for it in a deep and authentic and loving manner, which I call a faith gesture. Again, this is not an intellectual exercise. This is a sacred moment. We can override the old programming of needing to be angry and resentful in order to be safe from people transferring their pain. Because, yeah, that's a reason why you stay angry and resentful, is because it's like your shield up so that that person won't hurt you anymore. But in essence, what it really is you got a tie to them, you're corded to them, and they are blocking you in ways that you can't even imagine. So here's my personal challenge and awareness opportunity for you in the form of a faith gesture for inner peace using water. Number one, you're going to get still and contemplate of whom in your life right now are you most angry and resentful. Write their name or names down on a piece of paper, and how they have offended, betrayed, misjudged, or harmed you in any manner. Then, after taking a deep breath, you're going to flip the paper over, and you're going to list everyone who you believe may be angry and resentful of you because you offended, betrayed, misjudged, or harmed them in any manner. As Marianne Williamson says, don't go unconscious, write it all out. Yeah. After folding up the paper, you're going to place it on your ancestor altar, or you can create a water altar, or in a safe place overnight. Next, you're going to get a glass bottle or a jar, and you're going to put some salt in it. How much salt? As much as you think you need, and you're going to fill it up with water. Then you're going to hold that vessel in your hands, and you're going to ask the spirit of the water to receive all the negative energy that you are ready to release about those persons and for yourself. You will then place that vessel, covered or not, right under your bed, or you can place it next to your bed while you sleep, because while you sleep, your anger and resentment energy will release into the water, and it will be held from coming back out by the mineral element of salt. Okay? And then to complete this faith gesture, first thing in the morning, you're going to rise up and release the water either into the toilet or out in nature. And of course, you're going to do that in a sacred manner, remembering to invoke your ancestors and spirit guides before you begin and thank them when you are finished. Now, I suggest you allow yourself at least 3 days of rewiring to then begin noticing a shift in your feelings from anger and resentment to acceptance and inner peace regarding the persons that you put down. And also in regards to yourself, in terms of anything that you had done that was negative and out of alignment. Now, you can get more detailed guidance for a faith gesture. Use faith gesture on peacemaking using water in a natural setting in chapter 17 of my book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. And you can also access a video of me congratulating you after you finish your ritual at my website and clicking under Water Ritual Praise in the book video section. And again, it's www.wisdomwalktoselfmastery.com. This personal challenge will be listed below the YouTube box here. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell so you get all of my videos. And thank you so much for doing that. All right, I'm going to close out. And I want to send a big shout out to my wonderful engineer, Brother Faris Muhammad, and sending great blessings to him and all of his family and friends who are practicing the Ramadan season rituals, and they're about halfway through, and I believe this important work, just like the Lenten season, affects all of us on the planet, and so I'm so grateful to them for doing this work, and wish them again all the blessings for a wonderful and joyous conclusion. I also want to shout out to all my regular listeners out there, and to my #1 fan, Ms. Sarah, who knows definitely that you don't get to the age of 95 if you don't know how to practice inner peace. It just ain't gonna happen. So God bless you, Miss Sarah, and happy Mother's Day, Mama. To all those who have wisdom walk with me and you know who you are, to my family, my spiritual kin, my transformational leadership colleagues like Miss Amanda Kemp, love you, Nanda, and to my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, and those who may be listening or watching for the first time, thank you so much. I couldn't do this important work without your support and listenership and viewership. Next week, I'll continue my theme for May of Show Up and Be Worthy, with being worthy of valuing your life. Yeah. Again, my book is Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain, available. And I found that there's like only 10 or 30 copies left at Amazon. I don't know what that means. Maybe I have to go try to figure out what it's going to cost me to publish some more copies. I don't know, but that's all that they're running out at Amazon. It's been a year now, so I guess that's a good thing. But again, other booksellers that you can find online should have copies of it as well. And it's also available on Kindle when it does run out of paperback. But last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides and loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Please have a healthy and safe Nature Week. Be flexible, but don't be flexible about wearing your mask, practicing that social distancing and safe relating, and being socially solidarity, considerate of other people. And most importantly, please remember You are not disposable. You are divine. Good night now.